back to another video. Today we do have a very interesting but yet more serious topic that I wanted to talk about. Now, I had asked everyone in a poll over on YouTube where you guys got your guinea pigs from and where in the world you might be from. And the reason for this is because everybody's story is different, and sometimes the way things run are different. Some things will be different in Canada versus the US versus out in the United Kingdom. And we'll touch base more on specifics at a later time. But for today, I will just show you the results of the polls on the screen. But let's talk about just general care. Is it unethical to keep animals in cages? Small cages at that. When they're locked inside small cages, they can endure immense suffering, as their movements will be severely restricted. They can't engage in any of their natural behavior, and they have no control over their lives. As a result, they can experience extreme stress and frustration. Keeping guinea pigs confined in an improper space can be considered neglectful and abusive. Besides, guinea pigs are very social, and you shouldn't have just one. In fact, in some countries, it's illegal to own just one guinea pig. You must have at least two, and that's how bad it can be to have just one. Now, having more than one does not necessarily mean being in the exact same cage. You can have a side-by-side situation such as behind me. Now, if you're looking at rehoming ads online and you're considering adopting some guinea pigs, you may see a photo of a guinea pig cage that is less than ideal size, but we don't know whether that's a temporary home or not. If the previous owner was just cleaning out the main cage or anything, we don't know any of that information. So it's important that when you're adopting through a rehoming ad, that we don't judge the situation based on the photo without knowing the facts. If you feel this animal is in need of rescuing, contact the owner with compassion for the animal and ask questions. Most importantly, try not to lead on to the owner that you feel the animal needs to be rescued. Once the animal is safe with their new family, that's all that matters. The healing process can then begin of showing true love for the animal. So when we talk about animal rescuing, what exactly does that mean? What does that mean to you? To me, where I live in Canada, rescuing an animal from such conditions includes, but is not limited to, starving, abandoning, when wounded or ill, or just abandoning in general. Inhumane handling to the point that the animal bleeds. Not properly grooming the animal. Not keeping up with proper nail trims when needed. Not brushing their fur and letting the fur get matted. Not bathing when required. Strangulation, drowning, kicking, hitting, choking, hanging, stabbing, inhumane shooting, setting on fire, or organized animal fighting, or even poisoning using a non-approved product, and the list continues on. However, it is crucial to remember that when you're looking to adopt a pair of guinea pigs through a rehoming ad, we only see what the previous owner allows us to see in a photo. It's important to not judge a situation, belittle, or talk bad about them. There's a reason these animals are being rehomed. If you do see a guinea pig that is in need of a new home, ensure that you can give this animal a better life. Always ask yourself, can I maintain the proper grooming, such as nail trims, brushing the fur, or trimming the fur, bathing when required? But also ask yourself, can I keep up with a proper adequate diet, which consists of 80% hay, 15% fresh vegetables, and 5% pellets or treats? Can you provide a proper adequate cage space for them? If the answer is no to any of those questions, then you might want to rethink the type of pet that you want to get. But not only are those factors important, but having proper enrichment, such as providing chew toys, creating mazes or puzzles or just anything that is out of the ordinary that will provide their minds to work in kind of forage for things, and just something that will just keep them stimulated. Make sure you can provide that as well. There are many ways to be able to do that, which I've got a playlist of videos that you can look at, which I will link in the iCards. Now, many of you responded with the fact that you got your guinea pigs at a pet store. When you see live animals at a pet store, many tend to believe that purchasing these animals are in fact rescuing them because they're kept in small tanks or cages. And when you see them, you feel so bad. You're just like, they're so cute, but that's not enough space. Or you count how many there might be in the tank, and they're overhoused and overcrowded. But what many people don't often realize is that this is done on purpose. Because these animals are meant to only be in there temporarily. That doesn't mean it's okay. But what many people don't understand is that when you purchase an animal at the pet store, because you feel, they live in less than ideal tanks or cages, it's not rescuing. When you pay for these animals, it sends an automatic signal, if you will, to the supplier to now order a replacement for what is no longer in their inventory. These animals oftentimes come from breeding mills in very terrible conditions. And while, yes, every animal deserves a home and deserves love, you're supporting these breeding mills. You by purchasing an animal at the pet store, you're saying, hey, it's okay to do what you're doing. Continue it. Keep it coming. And while when you think about it, it's not the message you want to give people, but by purchasing at a pet store, that's what happens. So what might happen to unsold animals? The store might return the animal to the breeder if it's marked down and no one buys it. The store may give the animal away to an animal rescue or a shelter organization. There's no telling what could happen. Sometimes animals live in the back room of the store for years or months, and that's not right. The only way to stop pet stores from selling live animals is to boycott them and not purchase through them. Now, if you happen to have recently gotten your guinea pigs through a pet store purchasing, if you have encountered sick animals from the pet store, please notify someone in the store. If they refuse to do something about the situation and it doesn't change and it keeps happening, then contact animal services and report the store. The owner of that animal can now contact animal services or animal control in the city or county of where the pet store is located. The owner of this animal can now check the Consumer Sales Act or Deceptive Consumer Sales Act to see if there's any legal recourse. So, how do we judge if an animal is coming from an abusive environment versus just a situation that we are choosing to judge because we can? So signs that an animal might be abused or neglected include visible injuries or wounds, untreated illnesses, extreme thinness or emaciation, matted fur, lack of grooming, parasites like fleas or ticks or lice, poor body condition, excessive fear or aggression, limping, and a lack of basic necessities like food, water, and shelter. If you suspect abuse, contact your local animal control agency or humane society. For small animals intended to live in cages, abuse may look like dirty cages filled with feces, lack of bedding, no access to food or water or hay, in this case. Water bottles might be extremely filthy and just looks like they've never been cleaned, but also all the physical signs mentioned above. Important terminology to remember. Adoption usually means that you're taking in a pet that needs a home, while purchasing means you're buying something from someone, the exchange of funds. Rescuing an animal means that you're saving it from abuse, danger, or neglect. Even when you go through an ethical breeder, it's still considered a purchase because they are intentionally breeding to sell. When you're talking about an ethical breeder, the only difference is that they are typically breeding for the betterment of the species, so they will take better care of their animals versus someone who just oopsies. And when you go through a shelter or a rescue, like a guinea pig rescue, you are adopting because those animals are in need of a home that you are taking them in. When you go through rehoming ads online, typically it would be considered adopting. Those animals online are being rehomed. They need a new home, a new family. You're choosing to take them in. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to comment down below. Let's have a nice discussion about this going. This is a topic not many people discuss, and I think it's extremely important that we are all aware of what we can do to help abused and neglected animals. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye. Cages. Small cages at that.